Hey, Shades Discord. This one's for you. This is also finance and investing, just Joey style. If you want the simple version of selling covered calls, so a covered call is very simple. It's an agreement between two people. You need to own 100 shares of stock, and then you're saying to somebody else, "Hey, I will sell you my 100 shares of stock at a higher price, and I'd like for you to pay me some money to do that." So everybody out there probably asking the question, like, why the heck would somebody else pay you to buy your shares at a higher price? That's the wrong question to ask because you're looking at this wrong. So I'm going to ask you a question. When you're driving down the highway and somebody's driving beside you or behind you, are you sitting there going, where are they going? Why'd they choose that car? Why are they getting off on that exit? No, because you don't care. Because it's somebody that you're probably never going to meet. So you don't really care about their individual life at that time. So just because somebody's on the same highway as you doesn't mean you have to care about what they're doing. Same thing in a covered call. It doesn't matter what the other person on the other side on the other side of the trade is doing. It matters what you're doing. So now I'm going to show you an example. Remember, it's a contract between two people. Hey, I have these shares. I want to sell them at a higher price than I bought them for, and you want to make a little bit of money. This is a great strategy for bear markets and sideways markets. Let me find my stuff. Okay, we're going to go SoFi. This is Robinhood. Every broker looks a little different. Robinhood is the absolute simplest. So our original action is sell. So some brokers are going to say sell to open because you don't have anything open yet. So the first thing you're going to do is open it. And a covered call is a sell. So sell, call. Put, call, buy, sell. So sell, call. That's what we want to do. Let's say we literally just bought shares of SoFi at this price, $25.62. So we have 100 shares at $25.62. So that's $2,562 for 100 shares of stock. So you're saying, hey, I'm okay selling shares anything above that because you're going to make money from the price that you bought in to the price that you're selling the call on. This is your expiration date. This is the amount of time that you're in that contract. Now, when you're in that contract, it's very important to know that your shares are locked up. So you bought these shares for a reason. So you need to be okay holding those shares during this duration. And it's very important to sell covered calls on a shorter duration, a month and under. You don't want a lot of time on these options. You want small amounts of time because expiration is what you're trying to achieve. Because when you sell a covered call, this is the maximum amount of money that you can make. Okay? So let's say we sell at $26.50. We bought it here at $25.62. We're going to make basically $1 of upside potential from $26.60 to $26.50. Let's call that 90 cents. So 90 bucks on 100 shares. Plus, we're going to make $46 or 46 cents per share by selling this call. That's it. The absolute worst thing that can happen to you is that you miss out on some upside potential. SoFi skyrockets and goes to 30 bucks. You sell at 26.50, but you still made money on the trade. And the most important thing is you have a guarantee. This contract, when you open this up, it is guaranteed. There it is. There are very few things in the stock market that are a guarantee. But premium on a covered call or a cash secured put is guaranteed. Now, what happens after is not guaranteed. So I like the guarantees. Now, I can talk about real quick why you'd want to buy this back. So let's say we sold this, we have this contract at $46, and then the stock tanks. So that's going to cause our covered call price to fall because this is still a call. We're just on the short side of it because we sold it. So let's say this price drops down to like 10 bucks a piece and you have $46 in it. You buy it back at 10 and you pocket the difference between 46 and 10. You sold it at 10, so you make $46 immediately. That's deposited into your account right now. It's also very important to know that you cannot sell covered calls outside of market hours. So it's 9:30 to 4. So if you want these to move, you have to do it on normal market hours. It's not after hours or pre-market. That's really it. So it's very important to sell above your cost basis at a price that you're wanting to sell. And then if you want to buy them back, you can. Now you bought them back. I did this earlier. I'll show you an example. And I'll show you why I did it. My account, history. I did this on HIMS. Maybe, there we go. Here it is. So I made $100. So the most I could make on these contracts was $100. And that's for the end of the week. I was okay selling at 39, which is actually below my cost basis, but the state of HIMS and the chart that's going on and the state of the market, I didn't think it was going to get there. Now today, HIMS tanked off pretty hard after I sold my contracts. So at 10:41, I opened these up, made $100, instantly deposited in my account. Then I checked my account later, and these contracts were up almost 50% in just an hour. So what had happened is I sold these contracts for $50 a piece, and then an hour later, at 10:55, they were worth $27 a piece. So that's $23 for each contract that I'd made in an hour. So I made $46 in an hour, which was 50% of the contract, basically. So when I made 50% of the total that I could make in an entire week in less than an hour, there was no reason to hold the contracts the rest of the time for me. Because what I think is going to happen later on is I think HIMS is going to come up and I can sell another covered call, or I can do a different strike price and do this again. That's why I did it. Now you can just hold your contracts till expiration. That's what I highly recommend that you do. When you open this trade, you opened it for a reason. It's only a a 4-day trade because you're only opening it up for a week, just like our SoFi example. And there you go. That's the basic of covered calls. It's like rent. You're renting out your shares. So I'm a long-term investor. So that's why I preach share counts. So on a trading sense, people do this in a bear market until their trade's done, making a little bit of extra money on the trade while the stock is doing nothing or coming down, while we're waiting for it to come back up. But I'm a long-term investor. So what I like to do is sell them out about 30 days. And I like to go for around a 30 delta. So what I would do is sell about a $30 covered call, let this play out, make $50 for the month. And guess what $50 a month is? That sounds like a bill. So if you want to pay for your bills and you got a bill that's $50 a month, there you go. And then I like to roll. That's more advanced. So once you start getting a little bit more comfortable with selling cover calls in the short term for what they're actually for, I can teach you how to roll them to where you're basically just refinancing the contract forever and never selling your shares. That's an investor long-term mentality to where you can create income forever and never sell your equity. But that's a different video for a different day. But anyhow, so if anybody out there has any questions about covered calls, how they work, if you're worried about setting it up right or wrong or whatever, just like Shade said, shoot me a message. I don't care. Send me a screenshot. I'll help analyze it for you so you don't screw anything up and you can get better. Now remember, covered calls are a tool. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Covered calls are a tool. So just like a hammer or a saw or a drill, they're used for different things. Just because you can sell a covered call doesn't mean you should. It depends on the market conditions. If you need to nail a hammer in, or hammer a nail in, you're using a hammer, not a saw. If you need to cut a piece of wood, you're using a saw, not a hammer. So covered calls shouldn't be used in every environment every time. So that's just a little extra for you guys. So, but yeah, like I said, if you guys need some help or whatever, send me some screenshots and I'll help analyze it for you. It's no big deal. I like doing that stuff.